All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back again to Sounds of Source. So, tonight we're going to be talking about shadow work. And this is not going to be your typical shadow work workshop, if you will. Um, it is definitely going to be diving more into like the second layer. And, I always talk about our layers of healing. Um, And so shadow work is not just like shadow work in this physical reality. You have those layers of the physical, right? Which I have one, my workbook, the physical mirror, that works through everything that we have in this physical life and the earthly chakras that we have presently, going through that system to help stimulate Kundalini. And then second one I'm working on is like your ancestral realm. And that is why I was saying so funny you guys are talking about ancestors, because this is another deeper layer of healing when we look at ourselves and we look at what's in the body, because I don't want to go too far into it yet because I wrote a bunch of stuff down. So I want to kind of honor what I wrote to the extent. But you don't just hold this physical reality in the body. You can have glimmers of pain and grief and suppression that have been passed down through generations, especially in the divine feminine and your feminine bloodline. If you don't know, when your grandmother is in the womb of her mother, all of our eggs are with us before we're born. So your grandmother is not only carrying you, your mother, your mother's also carrying you because all her eggs are in there, right? And it goes like from the great grandma to the grandmother to the mom to now. So it all passes down. And then it's kind of like that four generational gap. And so what your great grandmother experienced in the womb, any unprocessed trauma or things that she had in her life is passed down to the grandma, is passed down to your mom, is passed down to you. So out of one of those, somebody has to do the work to heal it. And when I was speaking with my ancestors, my abuela, who's passed on, my grandma is here, my mom's mom is here, but just speaking to my abuela, she was telling me, I'm so proud of you. I know like you come from your dad, but you did what I couldn't do. And I would say, whenever my mom's grandma passes on, she would probably relay the same information that my great grandma relays to me in the ancestral realm as well, which is like, thank you for speaking up and sharing your voice. This is something I always had trouble doing uh, in regards to healing. And also, embracing your indigenous roots, because I really let myself get away from that and become conformed into modern day society instead of going to powwows, doing these things with my family. I did more of what my husband wanted to do. So it was like this deep reminder and this deep remembrance of I didn't just heal myself, I also healed through my family line and my ancestral lineage. And so, with that being said, we're going to get into it. So, tonight, this space is really just to get deeper into why we may be looping in our shadows and to the parts where we inherit it, absorb, reject it, or try to bury things, traumas, shadows that even our ego can't find. And I've talked about the ego before, which it's our protector. It tells us when things are wrong, right? So just think about this. It's even so much further deeper into your subconscious. And a lot of times this doesn't come up until after your physical shadow work. So, why am I repeating the same cycle? Why am I getting this brought up again? Um, let's say, why am I having such a hard time receiving? Why am I having such a hard time speaking my truth? And it is like, I know I've healed this. I know I go back and look at my inner child. She's good. So, where is this coming from? And that's when you can see, oh, this is actually from my ancestors. Oh, and then it goes even deeper. This is from my cosmic lineage, other timelines. And the more you embody your soul fragments, it's like you death and rebirth, grab those soul fragments, bring them back in, integrate them, and then you go through this cycle again. So, this is just to hopefully give you some insight, explanation, understanding of what's actually happening right now. And I'm sure you guys can attest to this um, because, you've talked to me about it. So, um, a lot of times, like I said, it's not what you refuse to see, but it's what you accidentally took on that was never really yours to carry. And there's multiple layers of this, especially in the teacher mentor healing realm. If you want to journal while I'm talking, write things down, you can totally do that. I invite you to do that. If you just want to listen and receive, you can as well. As always, you'll get a recording. So if you want to take notes later, you can. But this is all going to loop everything together today, even the healing that we're going to do later. A lot of what we're talking about right now is to bring awareness to it. So when we go into the ancestral realm healing tonight, we can really move through it seamlessly, or cosmic, whichever you're on the layer of, right? Or maybe you somehow missed it in your remembrance, your awakening, and then this is just a reminder and to bring you back to that place to heal it so you can fully move forward, which is all about what this new moon is, this energy right now. I know you've been feeling it, like feel like you're on the cusp of something, don't know what it is. Why is it holding back a bit, right? So, this is going to ultimately help you move past that, like a quantum jump, a shift, if you will. So, we're going to start with like inherited shadows, which are things that didn't actually start with you. So, when you're feeling heaviness, especially at your root chakra, um, and your sacral chakra, um, these are where like a lot of that um, ancestral traumas will be held. Okay, things that go through the root system, things that are carried into this earth. And this isn't just your trauma, it's ancestral coding, which I talked about already. So it's these survival adaptations that have been passed down because someone had to swallow their grief to feed their kids or push their passions aside to take care of the family or suppress their voice to stay alive. Even when we think about it, it wasn't so long ago, but women didn't really have a voice. Women couldn't really speak up for themselves. People of color couldn't speak up for themselves without being killed. So this is where a lot of the suppression comes in, and fear comes in when it's held in the ancestral. That's why it's so hard for our mother or our father to work through these wounds, because there's a lot more fear there than with the fourth generation. And honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I really feel like the fourth generation is typically the ones that move through this and try to heal it so it start off fresh again. Um, so this energy doesn't disappear. Um, it morphs and it will get stored in the blood, your body, the womb, your bones. So, what we have to do with this, we have to ask ourselves who in my lineage didn't get to feel what you now have the space to feel? And like, even when you talk about this right now, you already get a ping of who's coming in. They can speak their name and tell you who it is, and you can write it next to it, okay? For the highest love and good. What pattern keeps repeating in your family line, and are you the one here to break it? Obviously, if you're on this call, you're here, you're doing the work. There's something that continues to bring you here for a reason, and that's to clear these ancestral wounds. So, I want to preface that we don't clear these wounds by blaming our family members. Like, you should have done this. You should have been the one to do it. Why is everything being put on me? We are here to simply face them, show gratitude for what they could do for helping us now, and by facing the emotions that they never could. And that's why they're here to help. That's why they're always here to guide you and give you advice when you need it, to give you strength when you don't feel like you have it. So, no, I want to go into this one. So, with that being said, do we blame these people? No, we don't. I also want to acknowledge the darker ancestors that we may have, right? The ones that we reject because they're mirroring darkness back to us. So we need to flip that and ask ourselves, why am I rejecting this guy that's trying to come in? They don't come in love and light form. They trigger you, they challenge you, they carry like a face maybe you don't trust. And what's the uncomfortable truth around that is that some of our most powerful guides carry the exact frequency that we still fear inside ourselves. I know, and a lot of people with mixed ancestry know that we don't want to talk to the people that conquered our indigenous ancestors. We want to kind of like, I don't really know if I want to really connect with the Spanish ancestry or, the English ancestry that I have, but they're there for a reason. When you say of the highest love and good, are they still there? Right? Because anything that's not has to leave. So then we have to ask ourselves, why are you triggering me? Why are you challenging me? What am I not fully trusting? And what am I really fearing inside myself? Is it this wrathful goddess energy like Kali Ma, which we've been taught to fear, the dark feminine, this suppressed rage? Or is it the stern masculine guide that is trying to teach you discipline, where you have forgotten your backbone, forgotten your structure? And we cannot fully reclaim our power and embody our fullness if we don't sit with that and make it softer, more palatable, more easy for ourselves to truly move through, right? And so I say this because this is what keeps us on the cusp of our full divinity. Like, why am I avoiding a piece of me? Just like the ego has been demonized for so long. The ego is a piece of you. Why are you suppressing it? Why are you pushing it away? Why are you giving it the cold shoulder? So then you have to ask yourself, what aspect of me have I demonized in this process of healing? Which is why I always talk about being balanced in your energies, because there's both sides to it, right? You're allowed to feel righteous anger. You're allowed to feel pure joy and esoteric happiness, right? You're allowed to be sad and depressed at times, or, um, on the verge of ecstasy. There's like both sides to this. And these deeper, darker wounds are the ones that are very embedded into the earth, because the earth, and as a frequency, right, is considered lower than the cosmic realm. Powerful, but it's not the same energy, right? It grounds us, it keeps us safe, it holds us here, it's transmuting everything, it's holding things we cannot carry at this time, holding traumas for us, to be brought back. So, and then when you connect with God, divinity, higher realms of consciousness, there's just pure light flowing in. So we have to find that balance and meet it in the middle. And shadow work at the divine level of all means letting God show up to you in all forms, even the ones that scare you, because that fear is just unintegrated power. So, really, we're asking ourselves, why am I afraid of my own power? And I know for me, one of the things that I found in my cosmic shadows during the time of Atlantis was that I put a collar on my throat because my voice is what caused the downfall. Like I wasn't aware of how much power my voice yielded and then inadvertently hurt so many people. And so I chained myself so it wouldn't happen again. And so I had to go through and do all this deep healing. And then I find, oh, my wolf ancestry chained themselves. They are alone. They believe that they could do better on their own. Right. So there's also like many, many forms that this shows up for you. And this can be seen as unconscious contracts, like silent promises that you hold, that may be holding you back, right? So we could be stuck in areas where we made unconscious vows, right? Like, I'll never be like my mother. I'll never be like you because you suppressed this. Or I have to suffer to be spiritual. I have to suffer to receive good. If I'm powerful, I'll lose love. I'll lose my job. I'll do this. Like, if I stay in my purpose, all these things are going to fall to the wayside, right? It's just how it rolls, right? Because it's not meant for us. If it's meant for us, it'll stay. We try to control these situations instead of trusting God and trusting that Creator have our highest good. So these contracts essentially, they're energetically binding until you revoke them. One of the cosmic sides of things that I've had to help guide people through is reptilian embedded DNA, because majority of us on earth right now have that DNA. Majority of us on earth have maybe the darker side of the gray DNA that we don't fully understand. And so what we have to do is we have to go back and dismantle it, the reptilian brain, if you will, the one that keeps us in the lower levels of consciousness, and reclaim sovereignty over that lineage, reclaim sovereignty over that timeline. And so this is essentially what we're doing is we're reclaiming sovereignty, reclaiming our power, choosing to see everybody from that state of unconditional love, right? Like, I used to always say, like, I'm never going to be like how my mom parented me. And even that's like, there's some good things that happened in that parenting. But if I constantly hold her in this place that keeps me stuck with grief, stuck with sadness, unhealed, then I'm never truly going to process it. So I have to see her for how she grew up, how her mom grew up, and have to accept it. And I have to give them love because all that they did was what they thought was best for us. And even now, after all the healing, um, it's still like a sticky subject, right? Like, because you don't want to feel like that. But at the same time, you have to walk in trust to believe that everything's better now, that you're being seen with love, and you're seeing them with love, and that it's just going to reflect back, that it won't fall back into the same pattern of control and trying to take you away from your path and what you want. There's just going to be an unspoken trust there between the both of you. And same with fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, any mirror in the physical reality, any ancestor, any cosmic guide, right? Sorry, clearing. So we just have to go back to those moments that we made these promises to ourselves and tell ourselves, like, we're okay. We're going to choose to see it differently now. We're going to choose to feel safe, and like asking our soul, do I still need this unconscious contract to feel safe? Is this what is giving me this illusion that I feel safe? Because it's not just about remembering who you are, it's also about renouncing who you never were, who you never really truly were supposed to be, which is holding anger or resentment or fear around situations, right? These are the illusions that they want us to play into, that keep us from truly gaining our sovereignty, gaining our fullness. Um, and so, with that, I feel like that encompassed like ancestry. I want to also talk about the shadow of the healer concept and savior wounds and spiritual ego. And then how we can unconsciously take on somebody else's shadow through the healing process, through relationships, like love relationships, etc. Um, quote unquote destiny swapping, right? And things like that, which I don't think it gets talked about enough. Um, and this is why a lot of people feel like they don't have power after getting out of relationships or drained, and why the other person's doing so great. Right? And then you're like, why are they doing great? What the hell? Like, was I not the one that did everything like good? I'm so confused. Um, and that's a human response, right? I know I've been there. Just worked through it again recently. But I have to be like, is that really the truth? Like, what is being presented to me, is that really the truth? And double down on, like, do I still have a cord out there that is connected to this person? And then having to clear that and move through that and really truly breaking the idea that they'll come back, the idea that they'll realize that, they fucked up and like apologize and come back. No, why, if I know that this isn't for me and God showed me multiple times it isn't for me, why am I still attached to this future where they're going to come back? Right. And so you really, like, we don't think about these things. Sorry, Audrey's like cracking up. We don't think about these things, right? And so they are embedded in our body, in our wombs, in our heart. And so it's just like allowing ourselves to really, truly let it go. Let it go. Elsa says, okay. So Savior wins, spiritual ego. I just talked about this in my I laid the cross down Substack post. Okay. Do you see where spirit is leading me, right? Okay. I've been giving nuggets this whole time. So Jesus carried the cross to die. As Jesus, Yeshua, was carrying the cross, that is when he was carrying all the burdens. He didn't carry the burdens with him into the afterlife. He surrendered them on the cross when he was dying, and therefore could come in his highest, truest expression of self. So it's not just a resurrection story, it is a deeply embedded representation of the burdens we carry and the burden of being a savior and wanting to be a savior to everybody. I have this gift. Let me help you. You need to be like me. You need to experience this. That is the spiritual ego. And when I first started this journey, that's what I wanted. I wanted everybody to be tapped in like me. I was controlling everybody. Let me help you. Let me do this. Giving, 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 giving. Well, what the fuck was left for me, right? Like, what's happening on the external? I'm giving so much of myself. I'm pissing everybody off by doing it because they just want to be themselves. They don't want to be told what to do. And guess what? I don't want to be told what to do. So if I'm telling everybody what to do, guess what? They're going to tell me what to do. And so that's what creates vicious cycles in our families and our friendships. Um, so that's why I say, like, if we always see a lower frequency, a 3D person, there's separation between all the densities, there is no new earth because that's all you see, right? That's what's going to be reflected back to you, right? That's why I also talk about um, non-attachment, unconditional love, knowing that you are everyone and everyone is you. And you're all here as the reflection of God in this moment. And if you can see that, then you can become the space holders that you're meant to be because no one held space for us, right? A lot of us had to go through super intense, hard things on our own because we didn't know there was light language people. We didn't know like there was other psychic mediums in the world, or we thought they were inaccessible because they were only on TLC. Like nobody to help us because they're $10,000 and we're still deep in our financial burden. Believing we have to work hard to receive monetary needs, right? Instead of trusting that things are going to come to us. But we didn't just become healers because it was the only way we could feel valuable, right? We we became these space holders because no one held it for us. I don't want you to have to go through all the shit that I had to uncover and learn and adapt because I didn't have a roadmap, right? That's why I create these journals, these workbooks. I share. Not because I want to fix you. Maybe at a time I did. Now I'm like, no, I want other people to help themselves. And I want to offer this so they don't have to go through 2,000 deaths just to get one rebirth, you know? So this is to keep you from getting burned out, getting drained, wondering why your boundaries are getting violated, being crossed over, not knowing how to hold energetic space. That's the shadow part of the healer. It's the part of you that needs to be needed. It's the part that gets high off saving others but avoids sitting in your own mess. That's where we get into spiritual bypassing. That's where we get into the only light here narrative, right? And you know, we don't talk about these things enough. It's starting to come out now. Um, but it's like, why did we take so long to get here? Why did I have to go through all these things for me to see it so clearly now? Obviously, we had to, but if I can help you to not have to go through all the craziness, I will. um, I want to touch on this. Um, we don't get rid of our addiction to alcohol, drugs, all these other things to become addicted to helping people, right? To become addicted to healing, to become addicted to plant medicine. I know the difference between me doing plant medicine and me, drinking every day. I didn't do hardcore drugs or anything like that. A little weed. I was really deep in the weed for a while because of my fibromyalgia. But I know, just like when we were talking about the hot bay, I know I can go 10 days without hot bay if I really want to see what's up. I know I can go a year without yahe. Will it call me effortlessly? Yes. But could I do it? Yes. Do I know now that I am the medicine and the medicine's just a tool as a reminder to show me my medicine, my truth? Yes. Do I know now that I don't have to trauma dump on social media? I don't have to tell you my whole life story. Do I want to? Yes. But that's not why I'm doing it to get clients, right? Some people think that I have to trauma dump, I have to put all this out there so somebody can come to me, so I can be relatable, so I can get paid, so I can make this my 9 to 5 every day. And that's not what we're doing it for. We share to build trust relationship with people. Some of my deepest wounds I don't put on social media or out there for everyone to see. But if I'm in a one-on-one container with you and I can feel it in my body that you have the same thing, I will open up to you first and I will tell you, hey, this is something that happened to me. I want you to know you're not alone. I can feel it. I love you. I'm holding space for you in this. I'm here to give you any ounce of advice I have on what I had to go through this journey. But, some things are personal. Some things we don't necessarily need to unless we have reclaimed our power, we feel comfortable with it. It has to be a fuck yes, right? And so this keeps it intentional. This keeps it with integrity. And this way, you're also trusting God to bring in the right people to you, trusting God to bring in those mirrors. And you're not distracting yourself from healing yourself by oversaturating with healing others. Service is sacred, it's not sacrificial, right? We don't need to sacrifice ourselves, our well-being, our strength, our power, our joy, our love to be of service. It's just natural. This is what we do. And it should stay like that, right? If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. Okay, now let's talk about when we're in actual healing sessions. What are you carrying that isn't yours, right? So, what can mess a lot of people up on the healing path is taking on someone else's shadow and calling it your own. It's like the healer complex, right? Let me heal it for you. Let me help you. Why do people on this path often get in relationship with narcissists or abusers is because we see the wounds We see they need help, but then we also see the potential that they have because we can see the different future timelines, right? And so we want to control the situation and say, if I just help them with this, if I just help them with that, I'll get this potential person. But that's not our monkey. That's not our circus. We're here if they need it. But just by simply existing, just by being you, that mirror is represented and that's going to be shown back to you, right? Today, this today and yesterday, I had two exes from high school message me. Yes, not my business, not my monkey. Yes. Did I say it wrong? I don't know. But I had two exes from high school message me and say, I really want you to know, like, I've been thinking a lot about you. I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing work. I just have always felt connected to you in this way that I don't understand why we were like meant to meet each other in like high school, you know? And I'm like, yes, if I have to be a mirror for you on your path, like, you were a light to me in my darkness in high school when I was going through so much. We were a light to each other. I mirrored that back to you. Like, we were in the same pain and we at that point gave each other happiness. And now connecting again, it feels normal. Like soulmate, like divine mirror, mirrored souls. And now I'm here to bring you out of your darkness. Now I'm here to be the mirror to show you like you don't have to worry about being weird. You don't have to worry about being alone in the path that you're paving for yourself. Right. And so it was very interesting that it came up this week. But it's like, I know that like you're not my person. So I'm not going to entertain that. I'm going to set my boundary with that. But am I supposed, do we have a connection? Yes. Is it in the way that you think? No. I'm so sorry. But mirror, 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 mirror on the wall. Let me show you, or maybe I am showing you through me embodying more of myself, what your path is, if that makes sense. It's not really coming out how it is in my head. And I didn't really write about this. It just was like talk about it. So I hope that makes sense. But if we take back to what I was saying, because I got off topic, we take on somebody else's shadow and call it our own. It can look like maybe your parent was always angry and now you carry guilt for having needs. Maybe your ex projected all their shame onto you and now you're the one over apologizing. Or maybe as a healer, you're taking on everyone else's unprocessed pain and thinking it's your responsibility to fix it. And that's not shadow work. That's energetic codependency dressed up in spiritual clothes, which is why I talk so much about individual sovereignty. I talk so much about being a space holder that keeps that holds the space, but you have your own individual sovereign bubble that doesn't get invaded, right? I'm not here to help you break codependency for you to be dependent on me for your healing. We're not healing. I'm not healing you. I'm guiding you. You're healing yourself. Medicine doesn't heal you. It's guiding you. You're healing yourself. If you're looking to work with somebody, make sure that's the number one thing that you ask like about. Most of y'all can see it for yourself, like right off the bat, like, oh no. But it's also in the verbiage, how they say things online, right? Like, I'm the only person that can do this. I'm the only person that connects with this energy. You need to work with me for that. Like, blah, 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 blah. Um, if you listen to this, it will heal you. I can't promise that. Who the hell do you want to heal? We can't promise these things, right? Um, if you're open to receive it, yeah, for sure. That's why I always ask, like, or if I post things, I'll say, like, breathe in to receive, like, or I'll be like, for your highest love and good, like, it'll get in there. But you have to want it for yourself. You can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. Same thing. Medicine can lead you to the water, but you can't make you drink it. So you have to ask yourself, like, where did these stories originate that you need to carry these things for people? Also, I have to say this because I told Heather this earlier. I'm like, I'm trying really hard not to butt into your journey. Very hard. I will be, last night, I'm in my bed. I'm hopping. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. This is like an example, okay, of what I'm talking about. I'm hopping. I get a ping from Audrey. I get a ping from Heather. And then I start thinking about what they told me that day. And then I'm like in my head, like, yeah, you really need to da, 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 da. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, no, this is supposed to be about me right now. I'm supposed to be focusing on myself. and, and I'm like telepathically like blah 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 blah, you know. And so I'm like, crap. And so I'm like, I really got so much to say, but I'm not supposed to say anything. And I have to respect that. I have to respect that and hold it in. And I just have to wait here until like it happens. You know what I'm saying? And that is the hardest thing to do. It is really hard. But I didn't realize how I was carrying like these womb cords, like my mama bear cords, if you will, to where like I want to make sure you're safe. I want to make sure you're good. I want to, and I just be like, no, I love them. I love you. Goodbye. It's my time now. I see you tomorrow. you know? And so please double check your womb cords because you could be mama bearing some people. And that's where I was going to go with that. So, who benefits from me carrying it, right? If I'm carrying your wound, can you find it? Exactly. You answered correctly. And what am I truly afraid of? Like, what am I scared of would happen if I let it go? I know you're going to be okay. I know you're going to be fine. I know this is just another lesson you got to learn on your path, no matter what it is, no matter how it pans out. Am I really that scared to let you walk on your own little feet? No, I'm not. That's why I was like, goodbye, love you. But it can be like a thing, right? And you will see, like for me, I see old clients that had all this hope and had all this want to be better that just couldn't do it anymore and went back into the old cycle again. And it breaks my heart, but I can't be like, hey, what are you doing? You know, I'm here to hold the container of compassion, but I'm not here to hold your pain. I'm not here to heal your pain for you. And we can always love people, but still say, this isn't mine. And that's why we work, when we're holding space, we set our energetic boundaries how we do, and we clear out how we do. But yeah, you got to double check it because I cleared out and come back. I got cleared out again. Especially, I'm like, I thought I said everybody's go back. I saw them go back. What is happening? So let that be a lesson to you all. And same thing in love and relationships. If you are consummating things together, right? That is two energies coming together. In your womb space, you will hold that energy until you clear it out too, right? So I'm all for divine sexual expression, however you want, but just be mindful of that. Be mindful of what you're taking in. Be mindful of your temple, right? That's we talk about. I've talked about this before. You have recurrent UTIs. You have recurrent yeast infections. Who are you sleeping with? Not in a bad way, but the body will reject what is not meant to be there. The body will try to purge out what it is, warn you, shell you, like by gaining weight, by pain coming into the body, by um, um, gut imbalances, things like that, right? Headaches, fatigue, feeling drained. They're all there. It all happens to show you these things. And even when we go back to ancestral held traumas, cancers, they form from these solidifications that are unconscious to you, right? Same thing with deeply embedded griefs or deeply embedded traumas. They can literally calcify and create tumors. That's why a lot of people have experienced tumor shrinking from medicine, from, I didn't say Siri, go away. Thank you. From these things. That's why they experience tumor shrinking, healing, because they face that shadow, that pain, and they feel it, and then they sit with it, they release it, and they integrate, and then it actually does help with shrinking. Can't claim it, but can it help? For sure. If they truly want to sit with that and feel it and work through it and release it, it can help. Now, I mentioned quantum looping. I'm going to go over it again because I don't think I went through it in extremities. So, when you feel like you've done the work, but the same situation keeps showing up, a different person, same dynamic, a different pain, same, a different, same pain, different timeline. Sorry. Over and over and over again, it is technically a loop, quantum looping. And this happens when your subconscious hasn't caught up to your conscious desires, right? Did I manifest the partner I wanted months ago? Did they come into my life? Yes. Is that where I'm at now in my manifestation? No. Right? Did I have to learn a hard lesson about it because I didn't recognize that that's not where I'm at now? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, did I manifest the job that I wanted like 6 months ago? And am I probably going to lose it? Yeah, but will I get money in the meantime? For sure. Like, it's just there are these things that happen subconsciously and we don't consciously understand it. I'm like, wow, this is everything I wanted, but this one thing's missing. But maybe that one thing will come. It's going to come. I know it. You've told yourself this so many times because we want the aligned partnerships, we want the aligned jobs, we want the aligned business, but a part of you still expects abandonment to happen, right? Or maybe we call it abundance, but still secretly we believe what we're receiving is unsafe, right? And so, can that energetically like confuse your guides in the universe? Yeah, Because didn't like last night you just say you want your divine mirror soul, you want your highest timeline partner, but like the second somebody comes in that has everything but one thing, you'll still stay with them until, you know, right? So why did I write another writing I did on Substack? I'm not just gonna date a regular guy. No, no offense to the regular guys, but it is like to show one, if you know this, and this, and this, and this, if this is your core, your basic core values, your basic core root of things, why am I settling for less? I already know this is out here, right? And if I have a divine mirror, if I have a divine partner that's going to match me where I'm at, wouldn't we not be mirroring the same thing at the same time? So if I'm focusing on myself, my embodiment, my healing, my path, my purpose here, constantly focused on me, trusting God, that's what they're going to do. Maybe they fall off, but guess what? They get back on. Maybe free will, who knows? But I trust it, right? So, preface to say, the universe won't listen to what you say you want, right? It responds to your energetic baseline. Just like I got that car a couple months ago, I wanted an SUV. Boom, broke. Take it back, girl. That's not for you. Right? And then I get a little car again. So it's like I wasn't really trusting my highest good. I was trying to control it to happen into what I want. And then I get shifted back to my highest good. So getting clear on what you want, not just what you say you want, what you truly know in your heart of hearts, that is yours. That's already happened. There's no, this is missing, nothing like that. That's what your universe will respond to. That's what your universe is meant to make happen, right? I always say if you want to know if it's meant for you, just pray for your life to be on your highest timeline. See what happens then. And then with every loop, it's technically a mirror, which asks you, what do I still believe I deserve? Right? Do you believe you deserve the one less thing on your list? Like that's a mirror, right? That's me telling me I don't think I'm worthy of this divine situation of my highest timeline because I'm willing to let go of something I want for a temporary comfort, a temporary happiness, right? That means I'm not really trusting I'm okay alone. I'm not really trusting the path God has for me. I'm not really trusting that um I'm supposed to do this, that, whatever, right? And this loops into the next question. What emotional payoff am I getting from staying here? Am I being lined up? Probably not, because you're just going to be like, there's something missing. I don't know what it is. And you're going to get looping in your brain about all the things that are not on your divine path, right? And so then you have to ask, who would I have to become if I chose something different, right? Do you really have anything to lose if you're something different is wanting to be on your highest timeline, wanting to be in your highest truth of self, wanting to be represented in your truest divine mirror? And I think this is deeply embedded into why we have such a hard time receiving, because there's like this deeper knowing that that's not the highest receivement we're supposed to have. And that is a very deep reflection that came in just now. You just sit with that for a second. Like, if we're too busy trying to be the healer, if we're too busy trying to make everybody happy, if we're too busy doing everything that keeps us out of ourselves, then how can we fully receive ourselves? Right? So there's like we will unconsciously stay in this loop because identity loss feels scarier than the pain. Who's that helping? Who does it help when you hold in your truth? Who does it help when you disservice yourself to help somebody else? Right? Helps everybody else feel better about themselves. But at the end of the day, you feel shitty. You don't feel good. You feel drained energetically. You overgive. And that's kind of like, it sucks, but you kind of have to be a little selfish, you know? Um, and being selfish or putting yourself first, it's not even being selfish. It's putting yourself first and caring and nurturing yourself, right? Is the weirdest thing to do when you're a people pleaser, when you want to help. It's not easy, never easy. But it's not really about, and I want to preface this as well. Healing is not fixing, right? You're already healed. You're already whole. It's not, we don't do shadow work to fix ourselves. We don't heal ourselves to fix ourselves. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not unworthy. You're not unlovable. Every place that you're at right now, you are worthy of receiving, right? And so when you look at your healing as a remembrance, right? It's, I'm remembering who I am. I'm breaking down everything I learned that took me away from myself. It's about reclaiming your wholeness, not endlessly digging to find more pain. At a certain point, you have to be like, I'm okay. I'm good. I've got there. I was like, what the hell? Like, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. What do I do? What do I do? Oh shit. Like, there's nothing to do, you know? Like, just receive, but like, who am I if I'm not healing? Who am I if I'm not continuing to better myself? It's like, what? Like, like the healing part of you becomes an identity too. And at some point, you have to realize you're already healed and move into the next phase, right? So the parts you inherited, the ones you took on, the ones you feel, the ones you loved, you might have buried them to stay safe, but now is your invitation to bring it all back, not to become perfect. Perfection in itself is an illusion, but technically, are we already perfect? Yes. We're already whole. This is the whole thing, is just remember that you already are, and embodying that here and now. Continue to become whole. It's okay if you forget, but one of the things that I did when I was forgetting my power, whatever, is I would literally, after ayahuasca ceremony, when I first did the couple ones, I would be like, I can't believe I forgot. I can't believe it. Oh shit, I forgot again. Oh God. Like each ceremony I went back and I was like, oh my God, I forgot again. Can't believe I forgot. And then I would like solidify in myself, like, you are powerful, you are worthy, you are this freaking awesome goddess, whatever the fuck, you know. And I told myself so much that I forgot I was human. And then I had to laugh and tell myself, oh my God, you're just a little human, Chelsea. You can be mad at the driver that cut you off, you know? And so it's kind of cool. That's all I wrote for today. It's funny how, like, everyone teaches you to love everyone else, but nobody really teaches you to love yourself. And so this is all just about loving yourself, rewilding, getting back to the roots. Trust, trusting. If you're having a hard time trusting yourself, do you trust others? One of my biggest core wounds is like, or pet peeves is like, I hate liars. It just drives me nuts. Like, I don't understand. But then I realized, wow, it's because I don't trust myself. I had an intuition that they were going to be dishonest, but I kept dating them anyways, or I kept listening to them, like being friends with them. And then I got burned. Wow. But if I would have just like, listened, then I could have trusted myself enough to walk away and not have to deal with all of this. But now I had to learn this lesson. So I really have to remember it and continue to trust myself moving forward and continue being transparent, open, honest. So that's what comes to me. Another deep breath. So let me know how this resonates. As always, I'm going to pause this for a second and then I'm going to hop and then I'm going to do a little channel. Um, yeah. Okay. I'm going to pause and you can talk. Hi, guys. So, as you can see, we're not channeling. Spirit really said that what I talked about was the channel and that we didn't need to do channeling tonight. So, with the questions that you received, um, things that I told you guys to write down, anything that really stood out to you tonight, do some internal meditation, um, connect with your ancestors that came through, and really feel into what's coming up, sit with it, release it, integrate, and we'll be back here next week for some more. If you have any questions, as always, message me, Audrey, even Heather, message one of us, and we are more than happy to help you. But yeah, this is all about regaining sovereignty and embodiment. So, really, the only person that can do it is you. And I love you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye.